one of the problems is there's a widespread lack of information and knowledge among parents about child development. So when my grandson Miles, at the age of 4, comes to me and says, I saw the bad guy of Spider-Man at Ginny's house on TV, so we saw the Spider-Man movie at Ginny's house. Ginny. And I thought he was coming out of the TV, the bad guy, so I punched the TV, but it didn't break. And why? Because for Miles, he believes that that Spider-Man can come out of that TV. And he's impacted by the graphic image at 4 in a way that an adult never is. We can put it in a context. We understand somebody wrote it and they're in a costume acting like that. He doesn't know any of that. Those issues have to get explained in a more effective way to parents so that they can take the steps in their own homes, and Ginny can take the step in her own home. And all the videos that are getting watched on Saturday afternoon when the kids are around, those are choices parents can make, and with better education and information, I think they're able to make different choices. They're going to protect children better. Millions of people are buying Bratz dolls. You know, Bratz dolls give messages to little girls that are really out of step with what they need to be thinking about and working on. If you think of a baby doll, a generic baby doll, and you watch a little girl play with it, she'll play out themes with her own parents, in her own family. She'll feed the baby and cuddle the baby. Maybe she'll hit the baby. Whatever she needs to work out, her own developmental themes and needs will come into play with a generic baby doll. And it's totally different from giving her a script and a doll with an identity and who likes fashion and dating, which aren't interests that the little 4-year-old girl has. So it's undermining, and really, in many, many ways, her developmental opportunity to use her imagination and to work out her own life experience through play. But too many parents don't know about that. And we need to help them understand more about it so that they can make better choices about what kind of dolls to buy, what kind of materials and playthings to buy for children, and not consume the stuff that's, that's so popular. I mean, I talked to a first-grade teacher I interviewed for my book, and she said, all the little girls in my class want to be the Bratz. She said they come in with little skirts below their navel, little tube tops, and they've got lip glosses. These are 6-year-olds, and they're putting them on, the lip glosses, all through class. And they say, I want to be the Bratz, or I want to be like the Bratz, she said. So, somebody's buying them the tube top and the skirt. And those people we can get to, too. So, okay, I've got 1 minute, and I'll just tell you 3 things that 3 of the many parents who told me amazing things that they're doing in their own lives, in their own homes, to take back childhood. And millions of more things like this can happen. It's social change at home. Nina had a baby, and she told everybody, all her friends and her family, no logos. I don't want a thing with logos. And she said to me, I don't want it going into their brain. That's why I don't want any logos. Ronaldo told me he went to a parenting workshop on media violence, and he and his partner, Laurent, they have 2 little kids, they ditched the TV. It's very rare. But they put the TV in the basement of their New York City apartment. And he told me, you wouldn't believe the change in our kids' behavior. They don't ask for anything. They play together beautifully and cooperatively. They're using their imaginations more. He went on and on about the positive change just by eliminating TV. And Holly, my last thing, has a 10-year-old daughter who wanted to see Mean Girls. Do you know Mean Girls? It's a movie that was made for tweens, and Holly at least had a lot of problem with it and didn't want her daughter to see it. Didn't think it depicted girls well, girls' relations well, thought it had too much sex, and I don't know, I didn't see it, but she was not happy with it. She didn't want her to go, but she didn't want to forbid her to go. All of her friends were going. She did something really clever. She said, I'll tell you what, Talia, why don't we decide on some questions together that you have in your mind when you go over there to Mean Girls with your friends, and then when you come home, we'll discuss them. So together they made up questions like, who are the Mean Girls? How do they treat other people? What do they look like? Holly wanted Talia to think about body image, so she said, what are they shaped like, and do they wear makeup, and who are their friends, and how do they treat people? And then, would you like to be one of them? And then when Talia came home from the movies, they had this discussion, which Holly said was rich and beautiful. And it turned out that lots of Talia's friends did the same, and they're all still doing it. Now they have a girls group, and they're continuing these kinds of dialogues. So I'm just saying there are lots of ways, big and small, that we can take back childhood for children. Thank you.
Something Nancy said I think is just so important, and that is essentially, you know, the information at this conference is incredibly overwhelming, and a lot of it is incredibly depressing, but you don't have to do it all. You know, you can pick something. We need to educate. We need to change policy. We're not going to change policy unless we, can convince people why we need to.